Hello guys, what is up? My name is Dylan. Welcome back to the Popcorn Podcast. We are here, myself and Clara, for our June roundup of everything that we watched in the month, of course, of June. If you haven't seen our previous month, everything we watched in the month of May, please do go check it out. I'll leave it linked in the description below. We got talking about quite a range of different things and got into a little bit of a debate towards the end.
If you want any relationship advice, watch the last episode.
Or don't.
Don't.
But yeah, guys, we are, of course, going to be kicking off the first, I would say, of the official summer season of films, June, July, August. And in this month, we were sort of finally rounding off our sort of Mission Impossible rewatches. So the first thing we watched in the month of June was Mission Impossible Fallout, a film the pair of us I have seen a couple of times before. You'd only seen the one time before, because you watched it in prep for Dead Reckoning, just the one.
Okay, this is when I get all confused about which Mission Impossible film is which.
This is number six. This is number 6
before the two-part ending.
Correct. Yeah, Mission Impossible Fallout. Many people consider this to be the best in the entire franchise.
Which I think, although I have a soft spot for 3, and for 5, the one with Elsa first. This is like the best.
This is the creme de la creme of the Mission franchise. This is where all the moving parts. This is the sweet spot. So many incredible stunts. I feel like I'm kind of sick and tired of talking about Mission Impossible.
You're like, oh my God, please stop.
I must have gone at least 6 or 7 episodes now. With some sort of mention of Mission Impossible, and of course this is no different. Fallout is great. I mean, if you haven't seen this one, this is probably the best, and I say that as someone whose favorite is Ghost Protocol. This is objectively, I would say, the best in the franchise. So many amazing stunts, from the Halo jump to the motorcycle chase in sort of London and France, and then the helicopter chase at the end. Incredible stuff. Tom Cruise is a machine. Henry Cavill, mustache. One of the great fight scenes in the bathroom.
My God, hilarious!
Fantastic.
Yeah,
This is Mission Impossible at its peak. Go check it out if you haven't, which, I mean, I assume if you're watching, you probably have. But yeah, there you go. On the 10th of June, I went to a special screening. I took my good friend Panwa, which was, the screening was held at the Prince Charles Cinema, of course, in Leicester Square, London. And this was for a film called Tornado, directed by, name escapes, John McClane. Who has done a couple of other films before. I think his directorial debut was a film called Slow West, which I haven't seen. It has Michael Fassbender, etc. So I got invited to go see this at the Prince Charles. Really cool event, actually. A lot of photo opportunities, a lot of press. The director, John McClane, and the cast were there as well, which was really cool. Neil's dad from The In-Betweeners is in this film. And me and Pano saw him at the film.
What was his character like? Was it
he was in one scene, like literally had a couple of lines. And me and Pano kept laughing because he was like, "Oh, Neil." The classic line, "Oh, Neil. Sorry?" Yeah.
Let's not get explicit.
Yeah, let's not. I was about to continue that. Cast and crew were there. Cinematographer whose name escapes me. This is really bad, but name escapes me. I'm really good at names usually, but name escapes me. Guy who shot Poor Things was there at the screening, and then we had an after party at like a really kind of bougie sort of reception, drinks, canapes. Really cool, fun event that myself and Panwa found ourselves going to earlier this month. The film itself, I thought was pretty interesting. I don't think a lot of some of the components don't really work, but it's sort of this kind of twisted coming of age story. It's very Western in style, so it's like a classic sort of Western story about sort of a group of bandits who are on the hunt for their gold, and it takes place, instead of the American West, it takes place in the Scottish Highlands. So substitute those locations, but also throw in a group of bandits hunting a lowly girl who may or may not have some samurai training of sorts. So you have this samurai Japanese culture clashing with the kind of American West bandit sort of mercenary culture, all set in the Scottish Highlands. So it is a coming of age story, but also a story of sort of clashing of cultures.
Oh, nice, sounds sick.
It's quite a concoction of things.
Yeah. Very niche, but I love the poster for that film. great poster.
Poster's great, but it is also a bit misleading because it is not an action film.
Oh, okay.
So it is not a samurai film. It is a very kind of slow burn kind of... It's only an hour and a half, but it is a slow burn kind of...
You see, I thought it was going to be an action
No. The kind of landscapes is really what kind of lets you sit with the story and let you kind of marinate in it. Like I mentioned, kind of some of the aspects don't really work, but I thought it was a fascinating watch. It's kind of about, clashing of cultures, nurture versus nature, but also like what you take from your parents and not being a product of one thing but of many. So pretty interesting.
That's cool.
And I want to check out John McClane's I keep calling him John McClane. That's the guy from Die Hard. Not John McClane. John McClane. I want to check out his first film, Slow West, so I'll be checking that out very soon. On the 11th, we rewatched Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Oh my God, not another Mission Impossible. No, I'm joking.
Dead Reckoning, though. First time we watched it, didn't love it anywhere near as much as the previous three. This time, though,
Solid. You're right, though, what you were saying after that some things are a little bit over bloated. They stay on some sequences just a bit too long. Yeah. It doesn't quite have the leanness of some of the others.
Yes.
Fun.
Yeah, really fun. Really good. I don't know if I put this up at half a star or not, but I had a better time sort of really just having fun with it, I guess. The first time around there was so much exposition, so much going on. I was like,
and the stunt just hits so much better.
Yeah, I was so happy
about
that. Yeah, the obviously the big stunt in this one is Tom Cruise riding a motorcycle off a cliff and then parachuting mid-air, which is insane. But we were able to actually enjoy this a lot better this time because prior to seeing it in IMAX on release, we had a swarm of marketing campaigns which continuously kept showing this stunt, not only just in the trailer, but in kind of a documentary style format. Yeah. At the start of every kind of IMAX showing we went to.
Which is like, I really enjoyed the short documentary. I thought it was sick, but it would have been sick had I seen it after the film.
After watching the film. Yeah, exactly. On the 13th, myself, you and Isaac, we went to see a re-release of 28 Days Later, Danny Boyle's original zombie flick, which came out in 2002, starring, of course, the wonderful Cillian Murphy. A very iconic film for the sort of zombie subgenre. And Danny Boyle and Alex Garland very much kind of took the concept and basically made one of the best films in this genre. Very well might be the best in the genre.
I think it's my favourite.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Other than possibly, and we'll come to it, 28 years later.
28, maybe, yeah. I think Train to Busan is also up there.
I love Train to Busan. I haven't seen it in a while, though. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was so brilliant. I absolutely loved the fact that they shot it on a, what do you call it?
Sort of like camcorder, digital.
Camcorder, yeah. I was going to say VHS and then I was like, isn't that...
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really good. It made it feel very real in a strange way. Of course, yeah. That like it hadn't got that sort of, I don't know, the overgloss where it feels like a film. It felt like a little bit, I guess, what the Blair Witch Project was trying to do with the sort of real footage stuff. I just thought that was brilliant. I thought it was beautifully shot, well acted. I just thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, Danny Boyle visuals wise, you're in for something you've never seen before with every single one of his films. But obviously, 28 Days Later in particular, just how he kind of grounds the entire thing purely through visuals is amazing. And obviously combined with Alex Garland's script, which is one of his best scripts in my opinion, it makes for such a fantastic experience. And also just seeing that on a cinema screen as well. Yeah. A lot of people might think like, oh, is the quality of like the kind of camcorder style gonna really sort of take away from your experience by seeing it on a huge screen? No. It's a fantastic film. Yeah. I think it basically does everything a zombie film should. It hits every beat. Yeah. Sort of establishing the kind of rules of the infected. These ones are like, being really, really fast now, Yeah. Establishing the rules, how quickly they become infected when you go from human to infected, how the whole thing started, sort of the sheer terror of experiencing this for the first time, waking up in a post-apocalyptic world and sort of seeing the streets of London completely, forsaken and deserted.
I think what I kind of love about these films, which is partly why I didn't like the second one as much, is that...
we'll get to that.
Yeah, it focuses on the sort of just everyday people. That it's not about, although you see how the virus started as almost like a
It's almost like
what's it called when it's before
prologue
to the film. It doesn't stay with that.
No.
We're not trying to conquer the virus. We're not trying to find a cure for humanity. Like, it's just not about that. It's about the human relationships and how the sort of infected or the zombie situation tests those human relationships.
Yeah, it's about like the bleakness of the world and kind of how you can try and sort of pick up any sort of shards left of your life after that.
Yeah, and what is fundamentally important to be human.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not like, we must find the cure and take it to and run through and like, it's not about that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that those films don't have merits to them and stuff like that, but I think partly why I loved this film so much is that actually fundamentally it wasn't about the zombies. Yeah, it was about the people.
Exactly. It shows both the deep sort of sense of tragedy, beauty of humans, but also the danger of humans. Yeah. Because obviously in the end, film kind of it makes the point that in a situation of this sort, the zombies, the monsters, they're not really
the most dangerous
things out there. So
brilliant.
There you go. On the 14th, I went to see the live action How to Train Your Dragon, which I have reviewed with Ben's box office. Really, really great guest, and such a fun episode to shoot, where we kind of reviewed the film, of course, but also had a wider discussion on live actions and how we feel about that. You are quite cynical when it comes to live action.
The thing is, I'm one of those people everyone hates that has taken a stance that I just don't really want to see any more live action remakes. So yeah, I don't. And again, I know it's not great, but I don't really give them a chance. And it's partly because I just feel like it kind of, as an animator, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that as these live action films come out and as more and more people see them, a lot of kids' first exposures to these films is going to be the live action remake and not the gorgeous animation that started it out. Yeah. And I think it's almost like partly erasing that as the art form of the story. And I think How to Train Your Dragon fundamentally is an animated film, that it was made as an animated film and the medium of animation impacts how the story is told so beautifully. Yeah. And I love that film. And I'm not saying, I'm sure a shot for shot live action remake, and I know it's not necessarily, would be brilliant because the film's fucking brilliant. So it should be brilliant. But part of me just can't bring myself to watch it being done. It's like I feel like it's almost like dissecting something that I love. Like I just don't want to see it. Yeah. Which I know is a very harsh opinion and you should give everything a chance, but I don't have time for it. Yeah, no, I mean, I went to see this, I was interested to see it because I feel like obviously How to Train Your Dragon is, within the realm of fantasy and animation. And I'm not a huge fan of remakes. If you watched my episode with Ben, live action remakes, I would say, for the same reasons as you. I also just think the wider impact it has on the industry of kind of recycling the same stories, like wrote something new,
is just lazy and doesn't push the boundaries of creativity, but instead regresses them in a lot of ways. And does sort of add to the whole idea of studios just trying to get money
and get more merch out and stuff like that. Yeah. I will just take a moment to say I'm not against people making like
reimaginings.
Yeah, but also like of things like fairy tales. So like I'm against a shot for shot remake of Snow White like was done with Rachel Zegler. Yeah. But I'm not against things like Snow White and the Huntsman. At the end of the day, this is a Grimm's fairy tale.
Reimagining.
Yeah, do what you want with it. Yeah. Exactly. Like, I'm not against that. I feel like the problem comes when you're remaking a film that is Disney's, or remaking a film that is the DreamWorks film. Don't remake How to Train Your Dragon. Make another film about a dragon. Yeah. I'm not against that.
I agree. I think so as well.
Yeah.
That being said, this is a great film. I don't necessarily agree with you about the whole, like, if you live action remake it, it should be good because the original is good, because we've seen many films do that and they've just been complete, like, rubbish because the animation is what it was a big part of making that original film great. So I do think I will give credit where credit is due about, it can be quite a task to to adapt that to live action, to remove what doesn't work in live action and actually replace it with things that actually sort of tie up kind of threads and make things more kind of watchable for that medium, I would say.
And you were saying that they sort of developed certain character nuances better and in more detail, and like that sounds great. Like I'm not I'm not saying it can't be a good film, and I'm not saying the people behind it aren't talented. It's just for me, I find it.
It's Dean.
Exactly.
The Fast 3.
I just find it sad.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's How to Train Your Dragon. Oh gosh, I remember this was the day I watched 3 films in a day. So I watched that in the morning. Then we went to finally see. I rewatched. This is the first time.
Last Mission Impossible.
The Last Mission Impossible. The Final Reckoning. We completed the rewatches. We completed the entire series. I have already talked many times about this film on the podcast, but what was your experience with The Final Reckoning?
I loved the whole submarine stuff. I thought that was brilliant. But I find submarines and diving so deeply terrifying and kind of awesome just generally. Deeply. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Deeply terrifying, awesome. I have a friend that has done some diving and things like that, and just the sort of story she tells about the terrifyingness of the repressurization. And the film's a bit ridiculous. Usually you have to sort of come up to a certain level and wait there for legit 7 hours in silence so your body repressurizes, and then go up to the next level. And there's horrific stories of people that have died down below. Their friends died, and then they have to come up and wait 7 hours in silence, just mulling that out. Diving is terrifying.
Yeah, psychologically.
Exactly. So I'm kind of, although it's obviously very Hollywoodized, I'm so there for all the diving stunts. I really enjoyed it. The story itself, fun. Enjoyed. The stunts are great. The shout out to Izzy Ann as well.
Izzy Ann.
She's been on the pod. Check out her episode. She was in it. It was great to see her on screen. She was brilliant. It was enjoyable. Some of it was a bit ridiculous, but so what?
Where did the film fall short for you?
The end annoyed me because he falls off. So I can spoil it, right? Yeah, spoilers, by the way.
Izzy Ann dies as well.
Yeah, that was upsetting. Don't bring that up. He's in a plane, and the other guy he's trying to kill in the plane goes, ha ha ha, I'm taking the last parachute. But for some reason, because it's Tom Cruise, he magically spawns another parachute. Fine.
Bro, only did he have a parachute, he had a backup parachute as well.
And then he dies because the parachute gets
the first parachute gets inflamed.
And then I'm like, okay, it's the end of mission. We're going to see Tom Cruise die. How sad, but kind of a beautiful ending.
Psych!
And then he's alive. And I'm like, where did that... Not only did you have one parachute, where did the other... just annoying. That annoyed me.
So you thought Ethan Hunt should have died?
I don't think he should have died. I'm not saying he should have died. When I thought he had died, I was like, oh my God, this is sad, but kind of a nice, a beautiful ending for the whole franchise. He died saving the world and from the greatest threat he's ever faced, and his friends survived. It's very classic hero death kind of thing.
They should have done a Dark Knight Rises ending with him.
Yeah.
Where Benji goes to a flipping, I don't know, a Pret. And he sees Pret in London, and he sees Tom Cruise getting a cappuccino, and he's like,
oh my gosh. But yeah, so I found that just kind of okay, sure. But again, it's mission. What am I gonna do?
Yeah. Great experience.
Yeah, great experience.
It's fantastic. Yeah. As well for me as well. I don't think this is necessarily one of the strongest in the franchise. I think that first hour is.
Not as good. Yeah.
We really need to get going here, guys. So the first half of the film,
and there is an insane amount of exposition.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Which is, is again classic for the sort of action genre. But I did feel in the one with Henry Cavill, which one is that?
Fallout.
We
just spoke about it.
Yeah, but I don't remember his name. In Fallout, for example, they obviously have all the exposition, but it doesn't quite feel as forced as it definitely did in this film a little bit. Yeah. But again.
Yeah, there you go.
Good fun.
That looks like the final send off to Ethan Hunt. We shall see.
He's definitely going to come back.
Who knows? And then later that night, the third and final film I saw, the second film you saw, was Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas, which is of course the John Wick spin-off film. Were you excited for Ballerina? No.
I am not. I like John Wick. To a certain extent, but the films just aren't for me. The fourth, yeah, I know. The fourth one, the first one and the fourth one, I had a good time with all the action. I thought it was done very well.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. I wasn't against those films, but again, I wouldn't go back to rewatch it. It's not, I said, it's not something that...
Really?
Yeah.
What that? Surely because if it's just the action, you'd want to rewatch the films just for the action, like not the story. Yeah, surely that's what makes it.
But I think I go like it's just again like I'm not like I can see.
You're too much of a pacifist for
like I can see they're brilliant.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed watching like how like the stunts. Like it's not action stunts. Are they stunts? I don't know how.
They are stunts. Yeah.
Okay, I enjoyed watching all of that. I thought it was cool, but I go to the cinema for the story. To be honest, so like for me, partly. It's just, yeah, like I said, they're just not for me. I can appreciate they're great, and I'm so glad I saw the first and the fourth one. Like, I thought they were great.
Did you know you watched the second and third as well?
Yeah, but they weren't as good.
They're still great. Like they're still good action. Anyway.
Yeah, no, they're still good action. Yeah. I'm just saying the first and the fourth one for me were the John Wick that I have in my head.
Yeah.
So like, I wasn't like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. I was like, it'll be interesting to see it with Ana de Armas. I think she's great. Like, cool. Without wanting to sound too cringe, like girl boss moment. Do you know, like could be really fun.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I wasn't like this. I need to see this. Basically.
Yeah. But we did see it, I don't know whether I should rewatch it or just not bother, because for me, I just think despite all the John Wick films having serviceable stories, they still kind of like, you know. They're still cool stories, you know, whatnot. With this, I couldn't give a shit about anything happening. You know, I think it's really cringe when there's an element of like an action film where there's like, there's a sort of myth about the Kikimara, and you know, I'm like, shut up, man. Can we just let's just get to like the good stuff. Like we don't need this sort of folklore myth. Like that's not going to make this film. Like just whatever. Anyways, the action sequences itself. Huge props to Ana de Armas for literally like throwing herself into every sort of sequence here. You know, her sort of Bond girl moment in No Time to Die was in many ways,
that was sick.
Many ways her like sort of audition for this film, if you want to say.
I can't lie, I wasn't a big fan of No Time to Die, but I really enjoyed that.
That was the best sequence. That was fantastic.
Was so cool.
And you know, this film is, I think, is close to 2 hours or an hour and however long it is of her basically kicking the shit out of people and getting the shit kicked out of her as well.
Yeah. To be fair, I just want to say one thing. I feel like that I appreciated. I feel like quite a lot of the time when they put women into the action roles, they refuse to let them get their get like lose basically. Yeah. But in order to create a good protagonist, they need to lose their fights. Yeah. Like John Wick consistently gets beat up. Like he's the best, but he's also always injured or shot or something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I did really appreciate that even though she was a woman, they didn't hold back on that front. That they let her like really fall and rise and things like that.
Yeah, she wasn't like a Mary Sue basically.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what
I get that. Yeah. Action-wise, I mean, some really creative stuff going on. There's like a grenade sequence and there's like the flamethrower.
That looked stuff. Amazing. Yeah.
And visually, you know, it's neon drenched as you would expect any
the
of these films
were pretty sick.
To be. So yeah, it's an entertaining action film, but it just didn't really do much for me in the grand scheme of things, because I thought the story was really weak, but also, and I didn't care about it, but also like. Yeah,
I can't lie. To be honest, and I'll say something that you might not agree with or might agree with. That again, like we're not watching these films for the story.
No, we're
necessarily.
Not.
But a good story can make a film great. So if it had a better story, it would have been a better film. But also, I do feel like partly with these action sequences and kind of things is like, if I'm going to watch a film just for the action, I want it to be the best possible action it can be.
Yeah.
And I did feel like, they were cool ideas in the sequences, but when you watch someone like Keanu Reeves and I don't remember their names, but some of the guys that were in John Wick 4.
Yeah.
Like people that...
Donnie Yen, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Exactly, yeah. These people who like, this is their lives.
Yeah.
Like they are the best at doing this and the best at what they do, and it's just I just said the same thing twice, that it's just all like phenomenal artistry of how you do this, that like props to Ana de Armas. She did a great job, and if the story had been stronger it would have been great, but if I'm literally going just to watch the action, I want to see the best action and the best and most skilled person doing it. And I'm not anti Ana de Armas. I think she did an amazing job. I'm just saying that like, if that's all you've got,
I understand
I kind of want to watch the best.
I understand what you said. I understand. Like Ana de Armas is great. It's fantastic. But it is also her first big kind of headlining film. Yeah. And to do it with such a physically demanding role, you can see some of the shortcomings, and that's not a criticism of Ana de Armas herself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a result of not having really done this before.
Yeah.
Whereas Keanu Reeves and Donnie Yen and Hiroyuki Sanada and all these like action legends, they have had their ass kicked many times over the years. They've built careers out of this art form, this specific art form. So yes, when you have like, I'm not to say that the action in this film is subpar. It's not, because it is still really entertaining, but also, it's just not quite the level.
Exactly, and I feel like if it had been a great, Ana de Armas is a superb actress as well.
Yeah.
If it had been a great story, this wouldn't be my complaint.
You think she's a superb actress?
Well, I think she's pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, why isn't she? I thought she was good in
Knives Out.
She's good in Knives Out. Good. I haven't seen her in a lot of other stuff. She's always playing like the hot girlfriend, and then you don't really get a chance to act, isn't it?
Well, she did Blonde. She was pretty good in Blonde, I would say.
Shit film, but she was good.
I think she's like, in terms of acting, I don't think she's like... But
have we seen her in the role?
But she literally did Blonde. She literally played
Blonde
Marilyn.
was such a bad film.
Yeah, I know. I can't quite tell with Ana de Armas. I don't think she's like an amazing actress.
But she can definitely be a lead in a film.
I'm still having trouble like really buying her as a leading lady. I'm not to say she doesn't have it in her, but like
Faz.
Like I'm excited. I love basically most of her career. I think she's great in a lot of things. Like, Knives Out is great.
Like Knives Out, I thought she was really good. I think the other things I've seen her in, like even Blade Runner.
Yeah.
She is still kind of just playing the girlfriend. So like I think it's hard to really like see.
Yeah.
Like when you get typecast so much to really sort of rip through.
Yeah. I understand. I think Ana de Armas is great. I'm actually a fan of Ana de Armas. I'm just saying, I am.
You can say it. It's good. She's great.
But yeah, and I think she's got, she's obviously done really well to get to headlining a film like this, and props to her. I'm just not like at the point. I'm not at the point where I'm like, I'm going to see a film because it's Ana de Armas. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
I'm not at the point where it's like, someone who could really do it would be like a Charlize Theron, like Furiosa, or like,
fuck
you know what I mean? Like she's not quite there yet.
Got you.
But she is trying, and props to her.
Yeah, 100%.
On the 15th, we watched 28 Weeks Later, which is the sort of sequel to Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later, not directed by Danny Boyle. This one's directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo. Not a filmmaker I'm familiar with. Just not as good.
Yeah, no, it was good. And I did touch on it before, but it's kind of like what I loved about 28 Weeks and subsequently 28 years.
28 days.
28 days and subsequently 28 years is that like small human story in the big landscape. Whereas I definitely felt this one was a way more like...
I think there was an attempt to do that with the family.
A little bit, but it was a little bit like cookie cutter. And
yeah.
I thought the first scene was brilliant.
The opening scene is one of the greatest like sequences in like this genre that I've ever seen. It's like the drop in quality between the first opening sequence of this film and then the rest of the film is needs to be studied. But I was speaking to Panwa last night actually, and apparently that first scene, which makes a lot of sense, apparently that first sequence was directed by Danny Boyle.
Oh really?
So that would explain a lot of things.
Damn.
I don't know if that's... Can someone confirm that? I might look it up after this, but like... apparently it was directed by Danny Boyle.
That does make sense, can't lie.
Because people, like the studio wasn't really loving the film, so they were like, Danny, can you just do some magic at the start here?
I don't know, and I just feel like there were interesting like avenues, like the guilt that the dad feels, but it just sort of, I feel like a lot of it got
that wasn't really explored that much.
Yeah, it just
turns into
it got thrown away for the infected are coming back. Are they going to be released to the rest of the world? The child's immune. Can we use that to make a cure? And like, I don't care.
Yeah. Good point. And also, like, Jeremy Renner is randomly in this. Jeremy Renner. Hawkeye.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like he literally came off the set of The Hurt Locker and just like found himself like, where the hell am I? And they're like, yeah, just keep rolling, keep going. So yeah. Not an amazing, not that great, I don't think.
Yeah, no. It's not terrible, but like...
Yeah, it's not awful, but yeah.
It's not as good, yeah.
On the 17th, the pair of us went to the Prince Charles Cinema to finally watch Perfect Blue. This is, of course, a film that we had been wanting to see for a long, long time. We've already seen Paprika. So this film and Paprika have been directed by Satoshi Kon, who's a prolific anime style Japanese filmmaker. Perfect Blue is really the film that has kind of, it was what he's known for. Paprika as well, but like Perfect Blue, which came out in 1997. As an animator, why don't you start this one?
I thought it was brilliant. Brilliant. His sort of film style is very dreamlike. He definitely uses animation to sort of really lose you in a sense of sort of time and place, and does sort of unbelievably fantastic, very chaotic and creepy sort of dreamlike sequences. And I think that's all so brilliant. He really uses the sort of style of the animation really well. Without how do I put it? With like this. Yeah, go on if you have.
No,
I'm just trying to say it.
Yeah, so what I think about his animation styles, particularly in Perfect Blue, and how it tells its stories, is it really kind of walks the line between like this, between being like sort of a twisted kind of escapism, but also like terrifying realism.
This is what I want to say, he almost like satirizes the art form in a way.
Yeah.
Like he sort of uses anime cliches in a way to almost critique them in some ways, I feel like. Not just about anime, like for it, like the entirety of sort of entertainment culture, but the way he does that through the style of drawing, I thought is just like incredible.
Yeah,
really
I don't think there's an animated film that I've ever seen that has really quite got under my skin like this.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
It is such a... this was an experience, man. I felt sick coming out of this. I said this on another book. It's literally like infected my brain like a virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, really, and so interesting. And I feel like it talks about things that people have started discussing more recently, like with the whole Me Too movement. Definitely sort of feeds into a lot of what he discusses in this film.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of interesting seeing it done so early, and is actually quite like some people might say it's not their experience or oversimplistic or a little bit voyeuristic, but at the same time, again, it's animation, so it's all drawing. But also like very, very interesting to see sort of the cerebral impact that a lot of decisions you take as an actress, or just as, anyone in the entertainment industry, of what scenes you do, what photo shoots you do, who you're presenting, what version of yourself you're presenting to the public. And as a woman, how much that has to be sexualized or doesn't have to be sexualized, whether or not you're playing, the sort of freely sexual one or the highly pious and innocent one, how both are sexualized no matter what you do. And both are sort of fetishized no matter what you do. So I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's I think the film definitely says a lot about that kind of, for a lot of actresses, similar to kind of Mulholland Drive as well in a lot of ways, that it was very kind of Lynchian in a way. Kind of the pursuit of, this character is like, she's a pop icon, and then but she doesn't want to do it anymore. She wants to pivot towards acting, and trying to find a way to do that doesn't that allows her to be taken seriously, but also the seemingly impossible sort of idea that there is in a lot of ways, that you're not given a choice really. But it's also about how people around you, whether that's people in your personal life or publicly, how they consume you. And how you are no longer yourself, but you are merely a product for other people to consume.
100%.
I thought this film is just brilliant. And what it says about online culture, and kind of, there's a whole sort of like, there's a specific character design in this that is really terrifying. I just think this film, Perfect Blue, is fantastic. It's a film that I simultaneously want to watch immediately, but also never want to watch again.
100%.
So
really, really good.
Apart. Yeah, and if you're one of these idiots who say animation is just for kids,
go watch
Perfect Blue. On the 19th, I watched Jurassic World Rebirth. Now,
is this still under embargo?
as it is currently under embargo. As of when I'm recording this, the film is currently under review embargo, so I'm not allowed to say anything about this. And I don't know when I'm going to be dropping this episode, Clara, whether or not I'm going to have already reviewed the film on the podcast or not. So I won't say anything about the film, but what I will say is I was really lucky because I got invited by Universal to go to like a really super sort of really low-key super secret showcase event, which basically premiered special looks at a lot of the new films and TV shows that they've got coming out for the rest of this year as well as 2026. So we got like really cool looks at films like Nobody 2 with Bob Odenkirk, Him, which is Jordan Peele's produced film which about like American football player, which looks amazing. And some other, I'm really trying to remember now off the top of my head. But really some really, really cool stuff. And then we were treated to a preview screening 2 weeks early, we'll say, of Jurassic World Rebirth. And this took place at the Battersea, the cinema inside the Battersea Power Station, which is a gorgeous venue. It's great cinema to go to. If you haven't seen any films, I definitely recommend it. We've been there a couple of times for some events. But saw Jurassic World Rebirth. So if I have already reviewed it on the channel, I will leave a link to it in the description box below. You can check out my full thoughts. I reviewed it with, or I'm going to as one of the recordings, but if you have seen it, I will have reviewed it with Riley as well, who had some interesting things to say about it. I'm just predicting the future at this point, but there you go.
I feel like I'm watching Tenet listening to you do this.
Yeah, I'm like talking in verse. But yeah, my thoughts on this film will be available in the description box below if you wanna check that out. But currently, as of when I'm recording, so I'm not allowed to say anything. Anyways, on the 20th, we finally saw 28 Years Later, right? Directed by Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle reunites with Alex Garland to bring us the sequel, or a sequel to the original 28 Days Later. Wow.
I love this film. I love this film so much. I think it brought back a lot of the, like I said, what I loved about the first one. You've got a little story about sort of grief and the human condition and all of this kind of stuff set in the terrifying landscape of zombie Britain. And yeah, I thought it was beautifully shot. It was shot on an iPhone, am I right? Or...
Yeah, this film was shot on an iPhone. It was all rigged up and everything, but shot on an iPhone.
So like I kind of appreciated that they stuck with that sort of original sort of VCR idea, but for this era, thought that was really fun.
Yeah, even though I don't think if you didn't know it was shot on an iPhone, I don't think you would have necessarily no, because they are still very. It is still quite cinematic at some moments.
It's so cinematic in lots of ways, but no, I thought that was awesome, and the way it's shot as well. I just think that's
I think the robustness of the iPhone. Like you're able to actually
like move it in such crazy ways. Yeah, I thought that was phenomenal. The performances are great. I don't know what the lead kid actor is called. He was amazing.
Yeah, the kid who plays Spike. Alfie Williams.
Alfie Williams was brilliant.
Rising star. Yeah,
100%. Obviously, Jodie Comer, Ray Fiennes,
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, they're just great. Like, unsurprisingly amazing.
Yeah. I was really blown away by 28 Years Later. I think I have reviewed it. I've reviewed it on the podcast.
Good review
with Seth. So again, if you want to check out my full thoughts, please do go check that. I feel like this episode of me just plugging other episodes.
No, that's good. Go check it out. It's a good review. But no, I sobbed in that scene, and if you've seen it, you know the scene.
I did the single tear.
No, I didn't. I was uncontrollably sobbing. The kind of sobs that should be loud, but because I'm in a cinema, I have to go. Like, so good. I loved it.
It's very, very different to 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later is more of a kind of classic survival zombie sort of film. Whereas this is, so much more kind of contemplative and meditative, and it provides a really sort of beautiful introspect on life and mortality. And
they do zombie stuff.
They do,
like, don't, if you want to watch a zombie film, don't shy away. It's still,
there's still enough
zombie.
Skull crunching, spine whipping,
but you're right,
alpha schlongs for you to enjoy in this. So
I never thought I'd hear you say that word.
Huh?
What was I going to say? But I kind of appreciate that in a way. That like they were like, okay, we loved the idea of this world, but let's tell another story.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that. Like, they didn't need to do another survival film. They did a great survival film. They took creative license, used the world to tell another story, and I really respect that.
Yeah. The only major kind of drawback for me, at least I'm pretty sure the same as you, is the very
ending.
The ending. Yeah. The
Sad
ending.
times.
And I spoke about this with Seth, but it is kind of like almost like a TV show ending, like literally to be continued. And there isn't. It's like
it's
the
so
scene cuts.
tonally wrong for where we've left our characters. Like, we've left them in sort of quiet grief in a kind of beautiful way, and then suddenly you've got this almost comedic action sequence, and it just feels very like someone's almost punched you in the gut. It just feels like or like you when you've dropped in a lift kind of thing. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh, that's a good way. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. And but yeah, I'd recommend definitely checking this one 28 years later out. It's a fantastic film. It is not it is very different to the first. So if you're going expecting like a sort of typical zombie kind of film, not really that, although there are some amazing moments and very, very funny at some points as well.
Oh yeah, really good. I love the comic relief as well. I'm always there.
The guy from Finland.
Yeah, love Eric. That whole sequence. And I think it's great as well when you have that much confidence as a storyteller to not confine your genre too much, to be like, this is deep, this is serious, but you know what, life...
I'm just going to throw in some comedy.
Life is also funny, and, you know, it's the classic thing of, like, you know, soldiers making jokes in the trenches. You have to keep going. That's what being a person is. You have to be able to laugh. And I just kind of love that.
There you go. On the 21st, we watched Mid-90s, the directorial debut of Jonah Hill. I'd already seen this before. This is your first time watching it. Why don't you start this one off?
I love this film as well. We've watched some good films this month. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. I thought it was very, like, beautiful little story about coming of age, what it is to have family and make friends and to sort of figure out who you are. Yeah. I thought it was, incredibly sweet and meaningful without sort of laying it on too thick. It just felt like I was sitting and watching this little boy's life and him struggling to make friends and
then finding them. Yeah, I think, I mean, this film obviously is if I said to you, have you seen Mid-90s, and they were like, oh, is that the skateboarding film? It's not a film about skateboarding. Skateboarding is very much the aesthetic of the film, but it is much more about, like you say, it's a coming of age story. It's about finding these kind of unlikely friends. You know, it's about a kid who is much younger than the friends he sort of makes, I guess, and how they inform him or how they influence him and how they, you know, have an impact on his life, and the good things, the bad things, you know, his relationship with his older brother and like the familial ties. Like, it's all this really sort of really quite sweet but also emotional drama at times.
Yeah. I mean, like, can be very upsetting in a lot of ways. There's moments where it's sort of heartbreaking. There were moments in the film where I was like, oh my god, I just need to give this kid a hug. Like,
and of course it all takes place in the mid-90s in Los Angeles, so it's going to be a lot nostalgic to a lot of people. Even as someone who has never even been to LA, it feels nostalgic in a way, even though I don't really kind of have done any of these things before, I would say. But yeah, it captures a place and a time really, really well. And Jonah Hill, like, it's a fantastic directorial debut. There's a scene in this film where, like,
oh my god, I don't know why, but I keep blotting that out when I think of this film.
It almost doesn't seem like this, like that scene.
It's just like it isn't in the film in my mind. Like, oh no, that
if
was.
You've seen the film, you know what we're talking about. Surely that's illegal.
I like literally sat up. We were sort of lying on the sofa. I sat up and I like covered my eyes. I was like, oh my god, this cannot be happening. Yeah, okay.
There you go. The next day we watched I Saw the TV Glow.
Yes.
This was a film. This was interesting. Again, a film I'd heard about for, I think since last year. It was playing a lot at the Prince Charles. Didn't manage to see it, but now have managed to see it. Directed by Jane, not going to be able to say her surname, but Schoenbrunn. That's what I want to say. This film is very pink. Very pink. It's
pink, what's it called? The Pink Opaque.
The Pink Opaque. Someone was paying attention. Stylistically, visually, aesthetically, this film is very distinct, very, very cool, very much embracing and not shying away, and using that style to very much tell the story. Showcase different details here and there. So stylistically, it's definitely a film you can return to and sort of spot things
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have caught on the first watch.
Yeah.
As an entire product, I would say this film is a fascinating one. I've never quite seen a film like this. It's very restrained. It's very, in terms of its story and its characters. Mm-hmm. It's very much one of these films that kind of captures a mood, and the mood shifts illustrate different portions of the character's life, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, it's a film about identity and not really knowing what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And almost coming to terms with the idea that you might never know what that is. So in a lot of ways, it is quite, it is emotional in a lot of ways. And you know, a lot of people on my Letterboxd seem to really love this film. For me, I just think that, I think it might just be a personal preference thing for me. And I would love to give this film another rewatch at some point, but I just I wasn't fully kind of...
Like invested?
No, I wouldn't say invested, but I think by the time the credits rolled, I was more interested and fascinated by the film than I was
immersed,
really affected by it.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of this film has some really brilliant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it kind of falls short and is kind of
I've been thinking about this film. I feel like this is one of these ones that really sort of, or maybe not, I don't know, I felt it very sat with me.
Yeah, like
it was like nothing I've ever seen. I did love the aesthetic, the way it was almost purposefully cheap.
Yeah.
In the way it did it, but as an artist, it's like cheap is maybe the wrong word. But you know, it's based on this TV show that is clearly like a bit shitty, and a bit sort of crap. But it embraces that and makes it kind of beautiful. And I did appreciate that, because we've all watched those TV shows when we're kids that are legitimately a bit shit, but we still love.
Yeah, it's about almost like the kind of fan fiction side of things, and like how, you know, the consumerism of certain, you know, media, how that kind of blurs the line between kind of fantasy and reality, and how your own life can often feel like a fantasy.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd say the one thing I really didn't work for me was when they jumped too much forward in time. Yeah. So when the main character becomes an older man,
I didn't think he looked like an old man.
He didn't look like an old man. I thought he was really good, but whether it was the acting, whether it was the makeup, just didn't really work for me at all. I very much took me out of it, and I just thought it was too quick. Like, if you're really going to delve into what it was like for him in his later life, I saw nothing. Like, it didn't really, I felt like they'd stayed so long with his younger versions. It was quite affecting. And then they sort of had this almost epilogue with an old guy that did nothing for me and really took me out of the thing.
The epilogue didn't fully work for me, but I actually kind of appreciated how abrupt it was, because, you know, the character makes a decision sort of just before that, where it's kind of sort of forking avenues. He could choose one thing or the other, and he doesn't choose the thing that
might bring him happiness.
And then later on the epilogue, there's this sort of kind of emotional meltdown that he has. I can still see it if I'm looking at my mind. It was quite a powerful scene, but I did actually kind of enjoy how abrupt that was, even if I didn't think, and this was one of my flaws with the film, I don't think the transition between the different ages of the character really worked.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Like
maybe the kid doesn't look like Justice Smith.
Oh, not at all.
That much for me. Like, I thought they were like, that's always a kind of sort of nitpick you have with some films that kind of leap from, you know.
And maybe it would have worked a lot better for me if it had just been, I didn't see him as an old man. I found that all a bit difficult to get on with. Yeah. But I definitely thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really interesting. I'd like to revisit at some point. Earlier this week, as when we're recording this, we went to see Dali. So guys, what is Dali? Well, Dali, if you guys have been watching the podcast for a while, you know my good friend Mickey, who is on the very first episode of this podcast and has been present throughout. This was a very proud day as a friend for me, because Mickey, for the past couple of years, he has been working on writing, directing, acting, producing, distributing his first feature film. And this is not a low budget film.
Incredible.
This is a sort of 80 to 100K, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but film. It is a proper feature film that just premiered at the Raindance Film Festival in London. So very, very sort of proud time as a friend, and for everyone who kind of worked on it. I was actually involved in some capacity, I would say. I've got
if you can spot Dylan.
Yeah, I've got three production credits on this film, so thank you very much, Mickey. I will. It's on my IMDb. I actually have an IMDb now. And the film, I'm planning to do an entire episode on Dali with Mickey, just to kind of go into the story, the idea behind it. Kind of what it was like to write and then sort of assemble cast and crew together, shoot the film, and then obviously edit, and then eventually distribute it, get it into the Rain Dance Film Festival, which is a huge achievement.
Incredible.
So I'd love to. I will be doing an episode at some point with Mickey's, and I'm really excited to do that. It'll be a bit different from what we usually do, but the pair of us, of course, we attended the kind of opening night premiere, if you'd like to say, of this, and it's such an incredible night to see like a lot of people that I was familiar with just from being on set and all that, and it was just a really fun night of celebration, and I'm not too sure how you can check it out now. I'm sure we'll have more news and information of how that will become available to watch. But
keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out, and I will definitely be letting you guys know when that's going to happen. But it was kind of surreal for me, if I don't mind saying so. But it's kind of surreal to see me just on a cinema screen. Like, it was like
crazy, incredible.
Yeah,
I think just insane, and it feels. And this sounds so stupid to say, and maybe a little bit patronizing, but I went to the cinema and watched a film.
Yeah.
And my friend, friend made it.
It's amazing.
It was one of those things of I would pay money to see this.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't mean to be patronizing, but it's just something I was like,
it's something that seems so far.
Yeah.
But now, all of a sudden, it's by people you've spoken to, you're friends with, you go to dinner with, you have drinks with. It's amazing. It really is.
And the film itself is so sort of bold, and the creative decisions he makes are like something like nothing you've ever seen before, but in the best way. Yeah. Incredibly acted by some of our other friends.
Yeah.
You may have seen on the podcast before. Yeah. And just saying incredible achievement.
Yeah. Congrats, Mickey, and we will have more information on Dali very soon, guys. Yeah. Last night, again, a film that I will just give general thoughts about because I will be reviewing it with Riley. I saw F1. I finally saw F1, the movie starring Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, Kerry Condon, Javier Bardem. I was basically expecting to go into this and get Top Gun Maverick, but with Formula One. And that's basically what I got. Is it quite as good as Maverick? Not quite. But my God, this is some of the most insane sequences I've seen all year. It is hands down the best racing sequences that we've ever got in a film ever. And as a film, it's fantastic. It is absolutely brilliant. As a blockbuster, as a summer blockbuster, this is a must-see in my opinion, I think. It's fantastic. And I'm so buzzing from seeing it last night. So we'll have more thoughts for you very soon, or I will already had thoughts. I will leave my review to it in the description box below. That is the month of June, guys. Do let us know what you thought about any of those films, as well as what you managed to check out this month. Clara and I, we have a very, very busy couple of weeks coming ahead. So what we're going to do, there isn't going to be a July roundup for the next episode, but instead we are going to be doing a summer roundup of everything that we watched in July and August at the end of August, and sort of just go through all those films. A lot of exciting films coming out in the next couple of weeks. A lot of big superhero films coming out, which is going to be really fun. Very excited to shoot those towards the end of the summer. But of course, stay tuned because I will have the usual sort of content available and coming up very, very soon. So thank you, Clara, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. I will catch you very soon in the next episode of the Popcorn Podcast. Cheers.